Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my man, the number one guy I know, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who watches my six is Dr. Paul Thompson. Hello there, brother Paul. How are you today?
Hello, Commander Drew. It's good to see you. Good to see you. We're going to have a good show today. I'm feeling very good. I feel unusually good. I woke up on the right side of the bed, as they say, and I'm unusually energized today.
Really good. I woke up too, and we worked out this morning, and I feel real good. Took me a steam shower, and I'm ready to rock and roll. You know how we start this off, Brother Paul? We started off with the quote of the day. And this is by Grandma Moses, believe it or not. And I hope you tell me a little bit about who she is. But she said, life is what we make it. Always has been, always will be. Once again, life is what we make it, always has been, and always will be. That's correct. You are what you do, you are who you are, and you have to make things happen. Tell me about this Grandma Moses a little bit, Dr. Paul.
Well, I don't know too much about it. I always heard that name, Grandma Moses. That actually was a real person. I thought it was a fictional character.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, her real name was Anna Mary Robertson Rose Moses. Anna Marie Robertson Moses. And they called her Grandma Moses because that's what her neighbors called her. But anyway, the only interesting thing I saw about her is that she was basically kind of a famous painter. She made a lot of money, but she didn't pick it up until she was 79 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Later in life, she lived to be 101, but they liked her paintings, and they're mostly like country scenes of rural New York. And she had a deal with Hallmark and sold millions and millions of cars for Hallmark in the 40s. And
Interesting. I'll tell you, I never would have known. I heard the name a lot also. That's very interesting, Paul.
and a New Yorker at that. How about
Oh
that?
my God, we love that. All right, the name of our show today, it is titled How the Poor Support the Rich When It Comes to Credit Cards. Dr. Paul, you and I have looked at this. It blew my mind. There are two kinds of credit cards, not credit cards, but credit card users. And the two kinds are transactors and revolvers. Now, I believe you and I are transactors, meaning I have an American Express, and that's how I started to become a transactor. A transactor means I pay my bill off every single month. And I really use my credit cards as a mean of using my money and keeping track of my money for taxes and for things like that. I don't use it for loans. On the other hand, we have a whole bunch of people who use it as revolvers. And I did do that when I was younger, but that means that you're always paying interest. And what we're going to learn today is that the people who pay the interest actually support the wealthier people who pay off their bills, Paul.
Yeah, I was trying to hear that too, or to read that also. Transactors and revolvers. Hadn't heard that before. I thought we were talking about guns. But I always wondered how they were able to offer some of these nice perks. If you do this, you do that. Didn't realize other people were subsidizing that.
The people who pay interest are subsidizing my trip to Greece because we're going to Greece in July or something. But how about this? I paid for it with miles, with my American Express miles. I got over $3,700 worth of free airline tickets. And I'm sorry to say, it's the people who pay off the interest that actually made that possible.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense. 'Cause all the miles and bonuses, and I guess our favorite place, Costco, does the same thing, depending on how much you spend and giving. They're not really giving you anything. Other people are, like you said, other people are financing it.
Well, we have those short-term loans that people are taking out. The credit card debt is up to $1.2 trillion. And that's 7% up from last year. And I'll tell you something, for every $100,000 I spend, I get back about 3,000. For every $1,000 a revolver spends, they if they don't pay it back, they have to pay up to 20,000 more because of interest, Paul.
Right, right. 'Cause look at the interest rate. The interest rates are sky high. I think there's some legislation to cap that. That probably is not going to pass. They want to cap it at 10%, but typically they're charging like maybe double that or triple that. And you see these payday loans on TV,
Yeah,
local channels is like da da da. It's usually somebody, in distress getting a car fixed or something like that. And that's probably the worst thing that you can do. But if you're stuck, you're stuck. And they're basically preying on people who are stuck.
that's true. And I'll tell you, I have an American Express, I have a City Card, and I have a Costco and a USAA. But I only use Costco at Costco
Mhm.
because you get 5% off of your purchases. I use my USAA as a ATM card, and I always try to use my American Express. A lot of people don't take American Express, so I use the City card. But that's all I have, and I pay them off every month. And God bless, I have worked my ass off to be able to do that. And I once was in credit card debt. One thing I want to tell you, Paul, I really believe they should be teaching credit cards and finance in high school because a lot of people get in a lot of trouble when they're young, thinking that it's free money, and then they have to work years to pay it off and get their credit right.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that old comedian. I shouldn't call old comedian. He's still around. George Wallace is his name, saying, "Yeah, a guy gave me a Discover card, and I discovered I couldn't pay it off." And I actually had the same experience myself in college. I had a job, a real good summer job actually. It paid well, but it lasted for a while. And they gave me a credit card. It was the Diners Club. I remember the Diners Club card, first card I had. And I was able to pay it, and all of a sudden I'm back at school with no job, and a bill came. So I got to pay this. Oh, I'm not working anymore. Like two, it wasn't a lot, but it made an imprint. So okay, this is serious.
That's crazy. Well, remember we just did a show where Katrina and I got kicked off an airplane on
Yeah.
a Frontier airplane. I We'll talk about that story in another time, but when we got kicked off, I had to go to American Express and tell them I'm not paying this bill. And they're such a good company. They looked at what happened and they would not charge me for those bills. And Frontier lost that money.
Okay. Okay. Well, I am good. A side note, I'm glad that worked out for you. You didn't need a federal flight deck duty officer to come and intervene with
No, we
one
didn't.
airplane. That's good. That's good.
That's good. Well, let's do some good news. How about in the state of Utah, over 40,000 kids are now going to get free meals. They used to get reduced price meals, but now if you make under $57,000 for a family of four, all the kids are going to eat free. And I think that's so important because a lot of kids don't have good nutrition when they grow up, and that really affects them for the rest of their life, Paul.
Yeah, when the COVID crisis started and they closed everything down, particularly the schools, I heard a lot of people saying that, what are the kids going to do for school for food? Like, well, and a lot of them depend on being fed at school, which was different than when I was a student, decades and decades ago. But that's kind of where we are now. A lot of people depended on the school lunch, the school breakfast, and whatever, just to have basic nutrition.
Did you used to take your lunch to school?
For the most part, yes. In elementary
Yeah, that
school,
little cool lunchbox.
yeah, it did. Everybody had a little lunchbox. Yeah, that was cool. Need to wash those things out every once in a while. But yeah, I did have a lunchbox. But it was metal. I guess I couldn't make it through a metal detector now. But yeah, they're all metal lunchbox, pretty much.
I bet you they're worth a lot of money now if you could get those old lunchboxes. They're collector's items.
Yeah, probably. Like a Pez dispenser.
Well, see, that's good news. We hear so much bad news about everybody. It's time to hear a little bit of good news because a lot of good things are happening out there. Now, Paul, What if I told you there was a woman, a 49-year-old woman, who swam across the English Channel? Do you hear me? Across the English Channel, and that's from Shakespeare Beach in Dover to Cap Crisnez Beach in France. She did it in 12 hours and 20 minutes. But let me tell you this, Paul. You want to hear good news?
Yeah.
She's blind. She broke the record. She's the first blind woman to have swam the English Channel. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's almost unbelievable. I thought that she was like wasn't she a Paralympian? She didn't just do this, on the spur of the moment. She had experience.
Right, but she never did open water swimming before. She actually is a gold medal winner in the Paralympics. You're right. But this is what I want to ask you, Paul. Could you imagine, like, if you come over to my house and you jump in my pool and closing your eyes and just start swimming?
All right. For for more than the length of that pool. That's really something. I guess I wonder she must have had some kind of guy. She had to have some kind of a team or something to help
She
to
did,
guide.
and one of the people she did, and one of the people on her team was her husband. And now they have these waterproof headphones where they don't actually go in your ear. They actually touch a bone right here, and the vibration sends the music and the words to your ear. But her husband did that, so she had a team. Let me just tell you what she said. Let me give you a little quote. She said, "Life is incredibly difficult being blind, and it's very limiting. But sport and open water swimming have given me a newfound confidence and made me proud of who I am." And Paul, this tells me that if she can do this, there are so many things that we are able to do that we don't think we can do, but we have to go out there and try it.
That's true. I guess that proves the old adage, where there's a will, there's a way. You gotta have a strong will sometimes.
That's right. And maybe handicapped people are not that handicapped. I think people who have all their faculties and who are ignorant or racist or mean, those are the people who are handicapped. All right, Paul, there was a tragic thing. A couple of people died in their homes, Gene Hackman and his wife. But what's troubling about that, Gene Hackman, I think, was 95 and she was 70 something. The point is, they did not find them for over a week. How come, Paul? How come their children didn't check on them? Who is checking up on older people where they could actually? It's so terrible. He had dementia. His wife died like 5 days before he did. And he just kind of just starved to death because nobody checked up on him. And I think the dog even died because they had him in a crate.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, he had a bunch of dogs, and I think two were alive. They were outside. The one inside was either in a crate or ate some of the medicine. Yeah, it was very sad. His wife was in her 60s. And again, Gene Hackman was a very famous actor, great actor. I
Great actor.
never saw him in a bad movie. Uh, the accent one, I forgot what it was with Denzel Washington. It escapes me now. He was on the USS Alabama he was a submarine officer. Great picture. But he was a famous guy, did everything right. Kind of, I guess they became a recluse. He became a recluse a little bit. He's got a number of children, but I guess there was some estrangement that was there, and nobody checked up on. I guess they lived a private life. But the problem with being private is that no one sees you.
Well, Paul, this is very interesting because everybody wants to be rich and famous. Well, this is what happens sometimes when you're too famous. It's hard to go out there. Everybody wants something from you. And so what happens is you just said it. They become recluses and now nobody's checking on them. But that's why I think we're saying this. If you know some elderly people, please check on them. Please call them at least once a month or something if you have some family members who are elderly, because everybody out there, the the idea is for you to get elderly too. And I believe what you do to others will happen to you. So you want somebody to check up on you, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. And in fact, actually, I do that with some number of my relatives, and more particularly a lot of my close friends. We check up on each other because that's we're at that age now. We're kind of in the fourth quarter, and everybody's doing the same thing. How you doing? How you doing? Just to
Well,
not
you
end
said
up
we're in the fourth quarter. I plan on going overtime.
overtime. Okay, overtime. Maybe triple overtime. Triple overtime.
Well, you know who I check up on, believe it or not? My gunnery sergeant from AOCS.
Really? Okay, that's unusual.
Yes, he's a little bit older now,
Yeah.
and he's had some medical problems, but I always check up on him. And the
That's good.
other one is the only other living member of the Muhammad Ali entourage, other than myself, and I was a kid in it, was Gene Kilroy, my uncle Gene Kilroy, I
Uh-huh.
call him, and I check up on him. And I think it's really important. And you want to know something? It makes me feel really good to do it.
That's good. Now, is Gene Kilroy? Is he in Las Vegas?
He's in Las Vegas. That's right.
Yeah, I remember something. That's cool.
Sure is. Yes, he took care of my dad a lot. He's the one who got Ali passports and driver's licenses. He was the business manager. Well, anyway, him and I are the only two left, and we're the only one to tell each other stories. How about that?
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
All right, check out those badass jets we got behind us. Myself, I have some F-35s. And behind Dr. Paul, he has an A4, which both of us flew, and an F-15. You want to say anything about them?
Oh yeah, we talked about him before, but they were both flying at the same time. The A4 is long gone now. The F-15 is still going strong. In fact, they've got a new version out. It's apparently really, really good. Yeah, F-15 was developed like in the 70s, and everyone says it's a marvelous, marvelous airplane, marvelous fighter. It's still serving the country, this country and other countries too.
Very good. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching us on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for listening to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and everything else. We really, truly do appreciate all of your support. You know, we have a newsletter. We have a newsletter at wingmenshow.com. That's wingmenshow.com. And the newsletter this week, believe it or not, is how to use credit cards to your advantage. Because I'll tell you this, Paul, credit cards to me I don't even carry cash anymore. Don't rob me because you're not getting anything. I do not carry cash. I use it all electronically now. But I think that that's wonderful. Don't you, Paul?
I use I have some cash. I like to have some cash with me. I have a story about
I
not having
used to do
cash.
that. I'm telling you, I don't do it anymore. I
Yeah.
don't take cash out of my pocket. And if
I
somebody wants me to pay cash, I feel it's so hard to actually pull out that money and
That's
give it to
true.
them. Yet I'll give
That's
them a
true.
card in a heartbeat.
That's true. That's true. I carry a little bit. Uh, don't use it that much. And it's funny, a lot of places, if I do pull it out, they kind of look at me funny. A lot of times I think it's a younger person that's kind of panicked that they may have to do some math. I'm sensing that.
Yes. Well, also, Paul, you know something? A lot of people are not like on the airlines, they don't take cash anymore.
Yeah.
You can have all the money you want and you can't get a soda or something that you want to buy on an airline. You need a credit card.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. There's a vegan chain around here that I like. They do special hamburgers. I won't use the name, but there's no cash at all accepted.
Well, is it a good vegan place?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty
I
good.
guess not good enough for you to say the name. Okay. Well, anyway, on our website, wingmanshow.com, we also have something that we really, really like, and that's called the frequent flow line. And that's where you get to ask Dr. Paul and Commander Drew any question you'd like. And I have one for this week, Paul. It's a
Okay.
short and quick one. There's a young man from Little Rock, Arkansas, 14 years old. He states, "Hi, Mr. Wingman. How do you land on a boat without a runway? Thank you." How about that one, Paul? You take it first.
Okay. Well, nice question. Thanks for asking. How do we land? I'd say very carefully, very, very, very precisely. Um, you actually do have a runway, but the runway is about 300 feet long, and I forget what the width is, but it's just a very short runway, and we have to touch down at a certain point, and we're stopped by cables. We have hooks. you look at a Navy airplane, and a lot of Air Force airplanes too, will have a tail hook. And the object of the thing is to fly a good approach and touch down at a specific point in a specific way so that your tail hook grabs one of those wires, call them wires, and
Wow.
the wire stops you
We did that a lot, didn't we, Paul?
quite a bit, hundreds of times.
Hundreds of times. And the way you get to that wire, you're not really looking at the boat because remember, the boat is going away from you. The boat always turns into the wind, and that means you don't have crosswinds, meaning you're coming straight down. But the boat is going away as you're coming to it. And what we do is we look at this light called the Fresnel lens, and we fly to that light's position. The lights are all on, but depending on how high or low you are in relation to the aircraft carrier, you'll only see one light. And what you're trying to do is get that light right in the middle. And if you keep that light right in the middle all the way down, bam, you'll hit the 3 wire and you'll come aboard safely every night. And that's so easy to say, but that's not so easy to do, Paul.
That's true. That's true. It basically it's extremely, extremely precise because that runway, like I said, is a maybe 300 feet, but those wires are not 300 feet. There's just 3 or 4 of them near the end. So you're really talking about a few dozen feet, and the rest of it is just to stop the airplane. So
That's correct.
we think everything is very, very, very precise.
Yeah, and as soon as just for you guys to know it, as soon as we touch down, as soon as we hit that deck, we go full power because if you miss that wire or your hook skips, you're able to take back off and go around and try it again. All right, you know what that brings me to? That brings me to a Wingman PSA. From the 11 facts in life, still on the fact number 6, avoid these 8 deadly sins. Today's sin is gluttony. Drink water, exercise, eat right, and wake up naturally. Gluttony. Drink water, exercise, eat right, and wake up naturally. And one of the reasons I said wake up naturally is, we always talk about how important sleep is. And it's important to get good sleep, not just sleeping. And when you get shaken out of a REM sleep, rapid eye movement, it is really totally not very good for you. So 100% gluttony. You got to realize that you are killing yourself by stuffing food into your mouth. You're just killing yourself, and it's time. And there is a way to stop it. And drink water, exercise, eat right. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I agree. Drink water, exercise, eat right. I think that's always going to be superior to injecting yourself with something. No, that's my opinion, not as a medical doctor, but just as someone with common sense. They got these commercials on all the time. They got a dance number and they're doing this and they're singing and shoot this thing in you. From eating right, exercising, and drinking water, there are no negative side effects on it. So I think you stay with the
Very
traditional
true.
approach.
All right, let's play a little game here, Dr. Paul. This is the gouge. We're going to give you the top 10 healthiest and unhealthiest cities in the country. But, Paul, before I give you the top 10, can you just give me 2 cities that you think would be in the top 10 healthiest cities in America?
Offhand, I would say a place like Washington, D.C. and Honolulu, Hawaii.
Washington, D.C. is number 9. Very good, Dr. Paul. Honolulu is number 2. Here are the 10 healthiest cities in America: San Francisco, California; Honolulu, Hawaii; Seattle, Washington; Salt Lake City, Utah; San Diego, California; Portland, Oregon; Denver, Colorado; Minneapolis, Minnesota. Number 9's your Washington, D.C., and 10, Huntington Beach, California. Now let's try that same game, Dr. Paul. Can you give me 2 of the least healthiest cities in America?
I'm just going to guess the Southeast. I'll say your favorite place, New Orleans, and probably anywhere in Mississippi.
Anywhere, Mississippi. Very good. Well, I think we got three of them in Mississippi. And this is from, I'll read them from 172 to 182, meaning the last one I say is the worst. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Jackson, here you go, Mississippi. Memphis, Tennessee.
Uh-oh.
Fort Smith, Arkansas. Corpus Christi, Texas. Huntington, West Virginia. Laredo, Texas. Columbus, Georgia. Shreveport, Louisiana. Gulfport, Mississippi. And the worst, Brownsville, Texas. What do you think about that, Doc?
Wow, Brownsville, Texas. That's on the border.
It
I'm
sure
surprised.
is.
And Laredo, that's on the border, not too far away. Laredo and Brownsville. Been to both.
Well, everybody, the name of our show is called The Wingman Show. And that's because we always like to highlight people who help other people. And that's what a wingman does. He watches your six, he makes sure you're not getting attacked from behind. And we have a great wingman for you this week. And don't forget to write us on that flow line because those letters are really important to us and we do appreciate that. Dr. Paul, do you want to start us off with our wingman of the week?
Yes, Wingman of the Week. Let me start off with asking Commander Drew a question. It's an easy question.
Okay.
What do the biggest people in the world and the smallest people in the world have in common?
The same biological functions. Maybe everybody has a heart, everybody has a liver, a brain.
Very
I'm not
good.
sure.
Very good. Very good. Very good. You did a good job. You got it the first time. Everybody has a heart. Some are big and some are little. Our wingman this week is actually Northwestern University. Northwestern University, and particularly the McCormick School of Engineering. Would you believe they developed the world's tiniest pacemaker? How
Uh,
tiny do you think the pacemaker is, Commander Drew?
Maybe a couple of inches big. I don't know. They're pretty bulky, and you have to have an operation to put them inside you.
Yeah, operation put it inside, and maybe an operation to take it out if they got to change it or do something, and they're
Yeah,
risky.
there can be a lot of problems with the surgeries.
That's right. Well, what if I told you they developed a pacemaker that's smaller than a grain of rice?
What? No way.
Smaller than a grain of rice, primarily designed for infants, small people. Did you know that 1% of babies born have a heart defect? I didn't know that before.
1% of all the babies born have a
Yeah,
heart defect,
yeah.
but can this thing help them?
Yes, this can help. And the thing is, this tiny pacemaker can be used on any size heart. They say it could be used on a big person, but it's primarily designed for infants. And the way that the miraculous thing is, it's so tiny, it can be implanted at the end of a hypodermic needle.
Oh my goodness.
It can be put in the skin, and it goes by. It kind of it does its own thing. There's a patch that the person wears on the front. It's light activated, and that light comes on if it senses an arrhythmia in the heart. And that light coming on with the sensor triggers a pacemaker to send the electrical signals needed to get the heart back into its normal rhythm. And they say that
And
usually, go ahead.
are you telling me that this thing small as a grain of rice, it can actually help you with your heart and actually make it beat correctly?
Yes, it makes a correction. It functions as a regular pacemaker, gives you the right pace. And they said usually kids that need it for like about a week or so, designed
Well,
for short.
what happens after you don't need it anymore? Because I know somebody actually has a pacemaker in his chest and they don't use it anymore, but he's got this object stuck in his chest for the rest of his life.
Believe it or not, to answer your question, after it's done, it just dissolves. It dissolves in the body.
What?
It goes away. No surgery, no nothing. Like it never even happened.
Wow. How is it powered? It's got to get its energy from somewhere. The battery has to be really small.
Yeah, the battery is kind of the human body. It basically sets up an electric circuit, and it's powered by the body's biofluids. similar to making a battery, putting an anode and a cathode in liquid and running current through it. Well, this is using the electrodes are obviously super small in this grain of rice, but instead of water or fluid like in a dry cell battery, it's using your body's fluid. That's what powers it. That's what makes it miraculous.
That's incredible. So you're telling me that the entire Northwestern University engineers, they're all wingmen this week, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're wingmen. They're distinguished. I guess all the engineering department, but particularly, I guess their biomedical engineering department. That was a big thing when I was in school. That was just kind of coming up, where took all the engineering disciplines and they applied it to medicine and making artificial hearts and things like that. So that's the part of the value of STEM: science,
That's oh
technology.
yes, yes, we push them.
This is STEM. This is like super STEM, super STEM.
And for anybody who doesn't know what STEM is, it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And if you're going to school and you're just starting school, try to get into a STEM situation because that will be the future. Thank you so much, everybody out there. And if you can hear my voice or you can see me, anything that you think is important and anything that you think is beautiful, and most importantly, anything that makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. It's good seeing you again. And we appreciate all those out there who listen, like, and share our message. We'd appreciate a like, thumbs up on YouTube. It helps the algorithm spread our message. We also look forward to hearing from you. If you respond to our frequent flow line, ask us a question, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for your support.
Don't forget, write us at wingmenshow.com. Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.